Can you guys hear me? All right. I want to say thank you and welcome everyone for coming to this rally today. Today is an International Day of Recognition for Workers around the world. And we're going to kick it off with an action for reform. We're going to do this in memory and celebrate the work immigrants do, the contribution to this nation from all workers, not just immigrants. We want to recognize the important work immigrants of the nation that was actually born immigrants from all over the world.
It's easier to hear when you stand up.
Do you hear them at all? Generations of people coming. People coming. It's all I got.
No, that's not loud.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So that means I almost have to eat the mic. All right. As I was saying, this country was built in generations of people coming to America to seek better opportunities. And that's part of what makes this nation strong, right? Right. But right now we know that our immigration system is broken and has something's got to change. The laws that we have in place are not working, cannot work for 20, 30 years. They have to be reformed. And so that's why we're here today. We're going to recognize that and call for immigration reform until we get those families out of the shadows and they can integrate on the American society. And that's what makes America a great nation. I'm going to speak a little bit about population, Michigan, especially Michigan. In the last decade, Michigan is the only state that lost population and is now barely hanging in there, even with all the immigration coming in. So immigrants are a good thing for Michigan, not only for the state, but also for the economy. It's one of the groups that has been invested in all across Michigan, especially like Sturgis, Northern Stress, Synapse District, Northern Sturgis. And just to give you a few numbers here, 6.8 of Michigans are Latino or Asian immigrants. This is a big chunk of the population. Think about that if we didn't get those people here, how many empty homes and how many opportunity and economic impact will be lost. They work in our communities, they pay taxes, they buy gas, they buy homes, groceries, and also they're a big part of agriculture, which is, agriculture is the second biggest economy in Michigan, if not the first. With 91 billion a year, with seasonal workers like in greenhouses and year-round like poultry and dairy. So
this one battery
we
on
need
it.
justice for all those people that are working.
It costs $300.
That are
A few.
We need to stabilize the families.
No, about 8.
Which
You want about 8.
benefit communities all around the nation. We also need to immigration reform to stimulate the workforce.
My favorite pictures are people taking pictures.
Especially on agriculture, which is the second biggest industry.
Cool.
So employers don't lose their investment. And that we don't have a second class of citizens living in the midst of us. How many of you agree that there should be no second class of Americans? Thank you. Thank you. Let me tell you about a little bit about business. In 2012, almost 22,000 businesses were started, were ordered in Michigan.
I rode the South Bay last year, 5 times.
Employ almost 70,000 people.
How are you?
There were almost 11,000 business owners, and they employ almost 20,000 people.
Where you buy that?
There are many more ready to invest, but they're afraid to invest because they don't have the proper documentation. They're afraid of being thrown out of the country. So that's why Southwest Michigan and all the nation needs reform. The workers are helping empower Michigan's economy, and a lot of those immigrants are ready to invest. So they will provide more jobs if they will give the chance. They'll pay taxes. They'll come out of the shadows if we only give them the chance. Do you agree with me on that? Right. So now is the time for reform, and I'm going to open up with a prayer and ask our first speaker to come up here to the podium. Father, we come to this place in this beautiful day, and we thank you for the opportunity that you have given us here in this great nation of the United States of America. First, we want to recognize that we depend on you, and that we're praying for the families that have been broken apart, torn apart by the broken system that we get to immigration reform. We want to pray for the politicians that are in charge of making the laws, and they make fair and just laws to bring those people out of the shadows. And we also want to call for reform in our local politicians and the state level, and also the president today, as everybody, different states right now are happening, different cities across the nation are happening, different movements for the same reason, to commemorate the work of immigrants and all the workers in America. So we put ourselves into your hands and pray that you will touch the hearts of those politicians in charge of changing the rules. And we call for reform today. Now is the time that we come together and we say, now is the time for reform. So thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Doctor, will you come forward and speak?
Thank you so much. Okay. So, I want to begin by saying that this is International Labor Day. Got to really swallow this thing. Okay. And to highlight the international character of the day, we have three young men here from Pakistan who are here. Raise your hands for Pakistan. And they're here with Colleagues International. They were telling me before I drove over here that this is a big day in Pakistan, that they have big rallies all over. So we're in solidarity with them, and we're in solidarity. The celebration of Labor Day began about 125 years ago to commemorate the Haymarket rally in Chicago, where workers were involved in a general strike for an 8-hour day. There have been many highlights on this anniversary throughout the years. When this day in 2006, about 7 years ago, immigrant workers and their allies closed the 3 weeks of action demanding justice for immigrant workers. We commemorate that today, too. And we in Kalamazoo joined in that struggle with a rally in the park on that day. Last year in New York, Occupy Wall Street protesters, who are some of them right here, they held a massive rally to reverse the growing, yawning gap between the rich and the rest of us who are working people. This day, we have special reasons to be here. First, we stand in solidarity with our sisters and brothers in Bangladesh, where just last week, that building collapsed, killing at least 400 people, and there are still 1,000 missing. Dr. Martin Luther King reminded us that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Bangladesh. This Labor Day, we struggle against the vicious attacks on working people in this country. Too few jobs, too many people working and not earning enough to support their families. So-called right-to-work laws, where the only purpose is to divide the power of working people and to stop them from getting the rights that they deserve. We stand against that today. This Labor Day, we stand in solidarity with our immigrant brothers and sisters, and we join them in their great struggle to move out of the shadows to legal recognition and a reasonable path to citizenship. It is time for justice for our immigrant brothers and sisters who want nothing else, but a decent life for their families and to contribute to the building of this country. We want immigration reform now, which brings them out of the shadows. I thought that on this Labor Day, I would close with some of the words of Dr. Martin Luther King. Remember that Dr. Martin Luther King died in a struggle for workers' rights in Memphis. And I wanted to read a couple lines from a speech that he gave to them about 2 weeks before he was murdered in Memphis. He said, "Let me say to you tonight, that whenever you are engaged in work that serves humanity and is for the building of humanity, it has dignity and it has worth. One day, our society must come to see this. You are reminding the nation that it is a crime for people to live in this rich nation and receive starvation wages. The problem is not only unemployment. Do you know that most of the poor people in our country are working every day? They are making wages so low that they cannot begin to function in the mainstream of the economic life of our nation. It is criminal to have people working on a full-time basis and a full-time job getting part-time income." And so he said, in Memphis we have begun. We are saying now is the time. Get the word across to everybody in power in this time, in this town, that now is the time to make real the promise of democracy. Now is the time to make an adequate income a reality for all of God's children. Now is the time for justice to roll down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. So we say today, brothers and sisters, now is the time. Now is the time for international justice, for an end to sweatshops. For working people to have justice in this country, to have living wages and work for everyone that needs it. Now is the time for immigration reform in this country. Now is the time.
Our friend Don Cooney said, now is the time. We all agreed that now is the time. And that's why we're here today, so that we don't give up on this fight. So I'm gonna ask Alicia to come forward and share her personal story with us today.
Hi, my name is Alicia Camacho. I'm from Mexico. I've stayed here for more than 15 years. I share a little of my history and for my better speaking Spanish because I feel los pollos, las papas, las nurserías, la espiga y otros trabajos. And the work that we have done here, like with potatoes or with chicken or other nurseries. Hemos tenido que trabajar muy duro para superarnos poco a poco y así darles un poco de lo mejor a nuestros hijos. We've had to work those really tough jobs in order to have something for our family. Y claro que no ha sido nada fácil por nuestro estatus migratorio. Clearly, it hasn't been easy because of our status. Y a pesar de tantos abusos, hemos estado aquí, pues, luchando contra todo esto. Even after all the abuses that we faced, we're still fighting for more. Yo tuve un accidente hace 3 años. I had an accident 3 years ago. Que claro que yo no tuve la culpa. Un forklift me aventó y me golpeó. I didn't have to fall, but a forklift hit me and hurt me. Y me lastimó mi brazo. Y a pesar de todo esto, ellos sin consideración, no tuvieron consideración para despedirme injustamente. And even though my arm was hurt, there was no justice for me when it came to being treated with justice. Sin importarles si yo tenía, o sea, si estaba mal de mi brazo o si estaba bien, sin consideración me aventaron como un animal para afuera. They didn't care that something was wrong with my arm, and I felt like I was being treated like an animal. Pero contacté a MAP y ellos me recomendaron un abogado. But I contacted Michigan Organizing Project, or now Michigan United, and they put me in connection with a lawyer. El abogado estudió mi caso. The lawyer studied my case. Y me dijo que no había ninguna posibilidad de dinero por mi estatus migratorio. And said that there was no way for me to pay because of my status. Pero que iba a tomar mi caso por la discriminación que habían tenido conmigo y más que nada por justicia. But he said he would take my case because of the discrimination I faced and because he wanted to do it for the justice. Y así, pues, él me ayudó a cubrir con los gastos del accidente. He helped me with the cost of my accident. Y así como yo, hay personas que están sufriendo las mismas necesidades en la sombra. And just like me, there's many people facing problems, but they're in the shadows. Yo estoy agradecida con este país por las oportunidades que me ha brindado y que he podido darles un poco de lo mejor a mis hijos, pero aún así necesitamos una reforma migratoria. I appreciate this country so much for all the opportunities that I've had and that opportunities that I've been able to provide for my family. But with this, we need immigration reform in this country. Algunas grandes empresas les importa el poder de ganar más y más dinero. There's some businesses that are able to make a lot of money off of it. Sin importarles que sus empleados sufran. Without caring that their employees are suffering. Siempre ha habido discriminación y más con aquellas personas como nosotros que no tenemos documentos. There's always been a lot of discrimination, and especially with people like me who have this sort of status. Y vuelvo a reclarar, es por esto la importancia de una reforma migratoria ahora. So I want to reiterate, that is why we need immigration reform.
people may say, well, why they don't come the right way? There's not legal way for many of us, but that's why I'm gonna ask Ivan Gomez, who came here legally, to share his story. You coming? You're first, Ivan. Come forward.
Thank you. Thanks. Can everyone hear me? All right. It's a beautiful day to be out here today, especially when the world is celebrating a Labor Day. And the broken immigration system do not only affect the workers, but also job creators and economy builders. My name is Ivan Gomez. I'm an immigrant. I'm a small business owner in Kalamazoo. And I'm out here with you guys to say out and to voice out that this is our fight, that it is now. I came a long way from home. I came from the island of Borneo in the country Malaysia, where I'm born a third-class citizen in my own home country. And this is the story I'm going to share with you today. It's because being a third-class citizen in my own home country, I cannot go to college. No matter how good I do in school, I still cannot get scholarship. And after working very hard to get education, obviously I couldn't serve the government office or work for the government, so I started my own small business. And to my disappointment later, I found out that because I'm a third-class citizen, I cannot get the licenses to do business with the government. So I came to America. I came to America believing in America. I did not come hungry. I did not come to steal anybody's job. I came to America to be an equal human being. And I believe that in America, and I was told that if you work hard for something that you need in life, and work very hard for it, that you will achieve it. And work towards an American dream. So this is why I came to America. And yes, I came legally. I fill up all the forms I needed to fill. I paid fees after fees after fees. And still, I have no pathway to citizenship as of right now. And this is why we need an immigration reform right now, because it do not only affect the workers, but it also affects people like me as small business owners. And the system's been broken, and excuses after excuses from the politician. People's life is not about politics anymore. It's about how a person would be able to drive their kids to school. It's about families that needed to stay together so they're not ripped apart. And this is all about being an equal human being. And the system's been broken. And it's always been broken, and it shall ever be broken. Even with the comprehensive immigration reform passed, my pathway to citizenship is still 13 years. While dreamers and farmers get a 5. But I'm here today because I believe in America. And I believe that you are here today too because you believe in America. This is a beautiful country. It creates beautiful opportunity. And we must fight for our right and our voice. And God bless America, and thank you for all being here today.
Thank you, Albert. Thank you very much for sharing the story. You can see there's quite a few stories that we have, but I'm going to ask our labor leader to come forward and share why he believes that immigration is a good thing for America. Rudy, will you come with him? Randy,
with the UAW, Local 2093 out of Three Rivers. And I'm also with the Southwest Michigan UAW CAP Council. CAP stands for Community Action Program. And as the name implies, we participate in activities in area communities. CAP also serves as a political arm of the UAW as well. It's because of my many years of involvement in these two organizations that I was asked to come here today and share a few words with you on the important issue of immigration reform. Immigrants that come into America today, just like those from previous generations, come here to find work. They believe that if they work hard, they can build a future for their families. This is the same thing that all of us are seeking. The UAW, since it was first formed, has always fought hard to protect the rights of all workers, whether they belong to unions or whether they do not. The UAW also strongly believes that all workers deserve to be paid fair wages, and they deserve a safe place to work. So at the end of their shift, they can come home to their families and they have enough money in their pockets to provide for them. The reality, however, is for most immigrants in here in America is much different. They are not paid fair wages. They receive far lower wages than most other workers in this country and without benefits. Many of the employers exploit them for profit. They, sorry, I just had a blank here. They, this is kind of...
It's okay.
Okay, now I know where I'm at. Please forgive me. These workers are left then to fend on their own. They are struggling sometimes for their very survival. They're separated from families and they're stuck in the situations they can't get out of. And worse yet, they do not have the means to protect themselves. And as hard as it is for these workers, that only tells part of the story. Not all employers are bad employers. There are some good employers out there who we can call good corporate citizens who are trying to do the right things, provide decent wages and benefits and safe working conditions for these workers. The problem is that their competitors throw them under the bus, and they are left to compete at a strong financial disadvantage because they are paying more for wages and benefits. Also, these ruthless employers often pit immigrant workers against other workers in our communities to further drive the wages down, and then engage everyone in this devastating race to the bottom. Finally, because all workers have less money in their pockets to purchase goods and services in our community, we all end up with a stagnant economy. So these issues affect all of us, and they are important to all of us. And as speakers before me have said, it is time now for comprehensive immigration reform. It is the reason that all of us have gathered today at this International Day of Recognition for All Workers. Under the current proposals, an entire new category of visa is being created called the W visa. And under the W visa, these immigrant workers are protected under current U.S. labor laws. These are protections that they do not have now. The W visa was also called what is referred to as portable. And that means if an immigrant worker happens to be unfortunate enough to be working for an abusive employer, they can now quit and take their visa with them and find employment elsewhere. current laws do not allow them to do that. What happens under the current system is those workers are either stuck there forever in what can be reasonably called forced slave labor conditions, or if they do quit, their visa is taken from them and they are deported. So this goes a long way to help give them some important rights. The new proposal also creates an ag jobs program. This sets up methods and procedures for farm workers and their families both to become legalized. And that's really important to us here in Southwest Michigan. There's a lot of those folks in our community. The new proposal also creates new visas for entrepreneurs to help grow our community and create new jobs. And it also helps students who come to America to get their education at American colleges and universities. It makes it easier for them to get work visas. So these are some of the things that we're looking at that are going to help some of the worst problems that these immigrants face today. UAW President Bob King reminds all of us that the UAW has played an instrumental role in all major civil rights battles since the 1950s, and he says that this fight for immigration reform is no exception. We're going to be in this fight, and we're going to participate in behalf of these workers. UAW focuses its support in three major areas of this proposal. Number one, they strongly support a clear path towards citizenship. Number two, they strongly support the protection of worker rights for all workers. And this must include making sure that federal contractors also abide by these new rules. Number three, they strongly support the protection of family unity. Right now, our visa program has quotas. Those quotas run out, and family members who are separated become stuck, and it can be a whole year before another opportunity comes along, or maybe another year after that. In the worst cases, a sibling who is in Mexico, it will take 170 years in order for them to qualify to come to America. These families will never be united. It shows how broke our system is and the fact that it needs to be fixed. President Obama reminds us of the American dream, that if we work hard to play by the rules, we should all have the opportunity to get ahead and make things better for our families. We couldn't agree with that more. We need immigration reform today that will unite these families, that will put all workers on equal footing, and will enable those employers who are ready now to do the right thing, to compete on a level playing field. I hope you will all join us in this very important fight to make sure that this legislation is passed now. Thank you.
How many of you? Marcos, come forward and share your story with us. I'm going to ask you to almost eat this microphone, because otherwise people back there will not be able to hear you.
Hello everybody. My name is Marcos Calderon, and here's my story. I came here when I was 7 years old. I'm 21 years old now. My parents brought me to the U.S. because in Mexico we were living in poverty. They thought bringing me here would not only benefit them, but me as well, to further my education and be successful, which in Mexico is really hard to accomplish. As soon as I got to Michigan, which I have lived since I got here, I started school. Me being 7 years old, told myself, I'm going to learn to write, read, and speak English, and to be successful like my parents want. But as I got older, I realized that I was undocumented, and I wasn't going to be able to accomplish my dreams. So I set a goal for myself, and that goal was to graduate from high school, at least. All my life, I have worked in low-paying and agricultural jobs, working ridiculous amount of hours and still getting tops $300 checks. Because as an immigrant, that's all you're ever get hired into. And most of us are capable of doing more than that, but the immigration will give us a chance. Because they think that we are all drug dealers and criminals. Well, check again, because like myself, there are millions of people that just want to live the American dream and be successful and bring their families along. We're all human and capable of doing more than what we're pretty much forced to do. And some of us just want to be able to drive, work, and not have to live with the fear of getting deported. And others want to go pursue their dreams without there being any extra obstacles to climb. So please help out the country. So please help out the country and the millions of people that just want to help this country move up. The immigration reform needs to happen now. It's just the perfect time.
Thank you for sharing that story. We get one more speaker, one more guest, and then we're going to continue with the program.
Hello everyone. Am I audible? My name is Muhammad Ashir. I'm from Pakistan, here on a state partnership program. Just wanted to say that May 1st should not be the only day as a Labor Day. We should feel the pain of the labor every day. Because this day, when this day ends, we go back to the home to get everything. In Pakistan, it's a common saying that laborers are the people who build the houses of others. And those who are constructing our house do not have a house themselves. And we need to realize this thing. We need to realize this fact. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, thank you. All right. How many of us agree that we need comprehensive immigration reform and we need it now? Everybody's fired up and the temperature is kind of toasty a little bit out here. What we're going to do, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do right now. Do you see these flowers here? I'm already brown. These flowers are a gift from a local greenhouse owner who depends on immigrant labor to cultivate those beautiful flowers. And what we're going to do is we are going to divide in 3-4 groups, and I'm going to deliver them to our local elected officials just to remind them, hey, we're still here. We need to support comprehensive immigration reform, and we're not going away. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to deliver them. So if you are, lost my map here. If you feel like you want to walk a lot, go with Larry, especially those youth. Help him. I don't know how many flowers you got. You're going to deliver. He's going to deliver 13. Where is that you're going at? He's going to the county administration building to deliver those 13 flowers. Allison is going to go also in the second farthest. She's going to go to the diocese of Kalamazoo. It's like a couple blocks down here, somewhere in that area. And Wendy Medrano, where's Wendy at? Where are you going at? Wendy Medrano is going to our Congressman Fred Upton's office, so divide with each person to who you want to go. And I'm going to the County Commission building, which is the City Commission, which is right there, if I'm not mistaken, next to the church. So either follow Larry Provencher, Wendy Medrano, Allison Closer, or myself, and then we're going to go and disperse. We will debrief there after that. Make sure to take pictures when you're doing that. We're going to debrief and talk about it.